Hello, this is D2 Kasui. I'd like to welcome you to the 2022 Summer Leadership Series. This session is entitled uh, A Framework for Coaching and Mentoring. Coaching and mentoring is one of the number one development tools that leaders use to take their skills to the next level. And so this session is sponsored by the Virginia Association of College Chapters of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated and the Urban Financial Services Coalition DMV Group. And we're so excited to have this series focused on leading self. Before you can lead others, you have to effectively lead yourself. And as you have a strong foundation of leading yourself, you get the confidence that you need to be able to effectively lead others, lead organization, lead your community, and make a difference in the world. And so Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated has been in the business of creating leaders for over 100 years. And Urban Financial Services Coalition has been in the business of developing leaders in the financial services industry for over 45 years, approaching 50 years. So we're excited to be able to talk leadership today and go deeper into the subject of coaching and mentoring because of our powerful speaker. So before we get started, we are going to have greetings from Philip Wilkerson. He is a member of the planning team of the Alpha Leadership Academy, and he's also a graduate of the 2021 Summer Leadership Series. So let's give a big round of applause to Philip Wilkerson as he brings greetings on behalf of the VACAPAF. Over to you, Brother Wilkerson.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Greetings. I'd like to say greetings from VACAPAF and the Alpha Leadership Academy. I am so blessed to be joining you this morning. As Dr. Kasui, Brother Kasui said, I'm giving him doctorates. As Brother Kasui said earlier, I am a graduate of this program last summer. And so being a graduate of this program, I was so inspired that I said I had to join the planning committee and be a part of this continuously because of what I found as a value for me. And so I know that some people on this call, whether they're emerging leaders or seasoned leaders, I think that they can get great benefit from this program because as Brother Kasui said, before we can reach and teach others, we have to look within ourselves. And so I used this program last year to really look within myself and say, what are the qualities of leadership that I want to exhibit? How am I a leader? Am I a leader? And all those questions were really answered through the sessions. It was so great to see speakers that I looked up to, like past President Darryl Matthews. I was like, wow, there's an opportunity to learn about his leadership journey and see that the people that we put on pedestals, they started somewhere and they weren't always the people that we thought they were, and they grew in their leadership journey. So I found the guest speakers very helpful. I found the sessions that you're going to have today about your personal mission statement or mentorship. I found that very helpful. And I will encourage everyone, if you're jumping in for one session or more than one, I would encourage you to continuously do more than just one session. Stay with this program. Really, if you want to, reach out to Brother Kasui and do the full training so that you can be a graduate like myself, because I think these skills will be not only applicable to your service leadership, like my leadership in Alpha, but also my leadership on campus and my normal job. My leadership as a family member, I'm a leader in my home, a leader in my community. So thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so excited. If you have any questions about my journey or want to connect, I'm gonna put my contact information in the chat. And I'm just really happy to learn today and listen to Brother Allen and his presentation as well. So thank you, welcome, 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 and have a great day. You're on mute still.
Well, I'm saying the technology, I'm just doing terrible with the technology today. Let's give Brother Wilkerson a big round of applause. I'm so glad that we will be able to edit out. Thanks for the video. So let's give Brother Wilkerson a big round of applause. We appreciate his leadership. We appreciate his talent and ability. And we know that he is doing big things. He works at George Mason University. He's also been recognized for his leadership and is constantly being promoted and highlighted. And he's also a podcaster. So hopefully Brother Wilkerson will put in the chat his podcast so you can follow him and his wisdom and the knowledge that he shares with others. And so before we introduce our speaker, I would like for folks to take a moment and think about what makes coaching and mentoring so powerful. What makes coaching and mentoring so powerful? So think for yourself, in your past experiences in your career, in your personal life, how has coaching or mentoring empowered your life? How has coaching and mentoring empower your life? So go ahead and throw your answers in the chat. And while you're doing that, I am going to bring up Brother Ronald Dews and have him share verbally how Brother Dews is also inaugural class of our Alpha Leadership Academy. So Brother Dews, bring you up and have you share one insight about the power of coaching or mentoring.
Yeah, Brother Kasui, thank you for, in my opinion, the program is one that gives you opportunity to get some reflection. And in the program, I had a fantastic mentor that worked with me to develop some things inside a 1 year and a 3 year plan. So one of the main takeaways I had with the program was developing a plan for myself in the fraternity as well as professionally. And it actually came to fruition. So side note, I just got a promotion Friday from a plan that my mentor and I put in place about 18 months ago. So it works. And lastly, if you can be mentored, you should be a mentor. So you should just not take, but also give from the experiences that you've that you've been afforded. So that's my 2 cents.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Brother Dews. And Brother Dews is an amazing leader. Again, I mentioned earlier, Brother Dews is president-elect of the Xi Delta Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Fraternity in Henrico, Virginia. And so he has laid the foundation for him to not only effectively lead himself, to prepare himself so that he is now going to take his leadership to the next level and now be able to get things through a group of brothers, because Brother Dews is powerful in of himself. When you want to have exponential impact, that's when you take on a leadership role that allows you to organize, direct, coach, and empower folks around you so that your impact goes beyond just yourself. And so we're proud of Brother Dews. We're looking forward to what he's going to do next. Congratulations on your promotion. And this is just the start of promotions. We are praying that it's going to be, you're going to get it in multiples. How about that? How about anybody want some multiplication in their promotions, in their salary, in their impact, in their spouse? Not, you can't have multiple spouses, but we'll keep it to salary, job, and impact.
If
And
somebody come and hit you on the head, Brother Kasuri, we know we're gonna need a new MC for the day.
absolutely, absolutely. I want to thank Kevin Rouse. He put in the chat that mentoring helps him to do better. Lola shared sharing knowledge and experience through coaching. Erica shared coaching and mentoring helps you to provide direction and guidance in your career. Thank you. Excellent points. Appreciate you sharing. We want to keep that level of engagement and sharing going throughout today's presentation. And so with that, I'd like to bring up Brother John Stanislaus, who's also a member of the VACAPAF Leadership Academy planning team. Brother Stanislaus will introduce our speaker of the day.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Brother Kasui. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. I do have a very distinct pleasure of introducing today's guest speaker, Mr. Oliver Allen Jr. What can I say about him? Let me start by saying he's a visionary and truly an asset to his profession. He is the founder and CEO of Training and Development Strategies. His knowledge covers a span of over 41 years of leadership and training. He is a renowned national speaker who has held numerous senior level positions within the federal government and the military. He has been recognized for his expertise in equal employment opportunity, program development, leadership, diversity, as well as human capital management. Mr. Allen is a retired Army veteran. He's a former adjunct faculty member at the University of Phoenix with a focus in advanced career development and organizational management. He is a recipient of the Attorney General's Award for Equal Employment Opportunity and the Justice Management Division's Leadership Collaboration Award. One thing about him, he engages his audience with storytelling and life experiences. His understanding of today's as well as tomorrow's millennial workforce gives him the added advantage of energizing and reaching his audience so that they can get a better understanding of themselves. I can go on and on and on and on about his accomplishments, but I will let his presentation do the talking today. It gives me the distinct and pleasure of introducing today's guest speaker, Mr. Oliver Allen Jr. Brother Allen, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Brother Johnson. I tell you what, man, your introductions are just powerful. I'm trying to find my own bio, man, so I can use that with my wife, let her know I'm somebody. You know, every now and then you got to throw that, hey, look, I'm somebody. I don't care if I do have to go down and take this trash. Remember that somebody is taking out the trash. Somebody is washing your car. You know, hey, give me some credit with credit due. Let me get that bio. I'm gonna post it on the kitchen counter and on the refrigerator to let her know. Well, anyway, good morning, everybody. Good morning, and much love to all of you. I pray that all is going well in your life, and that you are enjoying yourself. No matter what, enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself. Mentorship is what I'm going to talk about today. It is important, and then I'm gonna follow it up with coaching because there is a difference in coaching, and I'll give you that difference. But the mentorship to me was the most important thing in my life that has occurred. My first mentor came back to me in 1982, and I was over in Germany. I didn't know that it was called mentorship. I didn't know nothing about membership. I was a new platoon sergeant in the United States Army. Let me say, so I was a new platoon sergeant out there, and I was the youngest. I got promoted early, and I was in armor. We had tanks. We didn't have the M1s at that time. And what I remember is this guy named First Sergeant Wilson. I remember his name. But as the newbie in the group, and the only African-American platoon sergeant in that group, and this first sergeant took me in his arms and started talking to me, started getting me ready for leadership. He said, I know there's going to be some angst about those around you, but these are things that you can take with you. And he began to do that as I began to lead this platoon of men and try to blend in or assimilate in this particular instance with the other part of the leadership team. So much so because I was surprised because First Sergeant Wilson was white and I never had any mentoring from someone other than that looked like me. And up to that point, really didn't have anyone because I was young in my career. But that piece made the difference in my leadership. And unfortunately, he died in a car accident during my time. But I never forgot him and the wisdom he imparted in me to help me to be a good leader. And I said, what he did impacted me so much. I said, I need to do the same. I cannot just receive and not give back. And so that's what I keep in mind about mentorship. And coaching, we're going to talk some more about that as well. So I thank you for your willingness to come in and join us. I hope that you are mentors. If not, or if you have a mentor, put in the chat room if you have a mentor. Just drop in there, yes, 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 or no. And then we'll talk a little more about it. Mentoring supports the goal of every organization. And when I say every organization, look, I'm a churchgoer, and I needed a mentor there because the church folks can get to you every now and then. So no matter what organization you're in, whether you're in a sorority or fraternity or a company, mentoring is important. It makes the difference in good to becoming great. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about in this mentoring. Mentoring empowers people, young people. Look, I'm 67. I still have my mentor. I still need guidance. Every now and then my wife tries to mentor me, but anyway, I think they come out more like directives. But I'm working through that now. But I'm just saying it empowers people. When you can input something in people, if you ever had a time where you might have not had your confidence. I talked to a senior executive not too long ago, and she said, Oliver, this is a corporate. This was a senior VP female. She said, I am at the table, but I'm not included. I said, what? I'm at the table, but not included. Several years ago, I talked to a senior executive service member, which is the government, and she told me, I am at the table, but I don't have a voice. Well, what's going on with that? And see, part of it is you got that insider group, and you got to figure a way to get inside. And mentorship can help you to get on the inside so you don't be on the outside. So you can have the grade, you can have the title and still not have a voice and still not be at the table, even though you're sitting there. It's like being at the dinner table and someone doesn't pass you any food. Now, I got some friends, they don't have any food over their house, so it doesn't matter about that. But you know what I'm talking about. You're at the table. You want to participate. So I'm going to share my screen with you. And let's see. I want to get my sound right too. So we'll give you some sound when the time comes. All right, we good to go. So let's share this screen. Everybody see the screen? Thumbs up? Yeah, good. So this is what we're going to talk about, and I'll move right along. Here's the what we plan to learn about the evolving definition of mentoring, learning to understand the role of a mentor and a coach, understand the power of coach's influence in the 8 steps of coaching model, and anything that you want to share with me. So when I pause and want to give you a chance to share, please share your story. Don't worry about how many slides. If you got a story, we want to hear it because learning comes from all of us. Let's talk about what is mentoring. What is it? I'll give you how it became about. Think of the old adage by Confucius: give a man a fish and the man will eat for a day. I'm going to add on women and other. Teach a man to fish and he will eat for a lifetime. And that becomes important. It's like children. I want to teach them how to survive so that they can go out and survive on their own and don't have to come back for dad's checkbook. That's what I like to look at. And then we'll work with the grandchildren because that's where all the money is going to go next. Mentoring takes place to two-way communication. It's an interactive process. And that's the big piece. You're not, and the good thing about mentoring, you're not telling them what to do. You're showing them some ways, giving them some alternatives, and let them think of the decision. Sometimes mentors become coaches, and sometimes they become directors, and that takes away from the growth. You just don't do that. And so I do a lot of lawn work on my yard because that gives peace to me. And so there's a difference in seeding and sodding. When you sod something, you rolling out that grass that's already done. You just throw water on it. But let me tell you, it doesn't last as long as a seeded lawn, because a seeded lawn grows and you nurtures it and it embeds in the soil that is present. Whereas sod, that stuff might die, flip over, and you run it over the lawnmower, it roll back up. But it's seeding. So you're taking a seedling and nourishing it while it's rooting in and building up to its growth. And that becomes the important piece of mentoring. Let's look a little bit at the history of mentoring. When you look at the history of mentoring, you can see there the Greek mythology, when Odysseus, king of Ithaca, went off to fight the Trojan War, he asked his best friend to mentor, to look after the development of his son, Telemachus. The mentor's task was to educate and train the boy to fulfill his birthright. Mentor helped. And he helped this young man to become an adult who would inspire his father's pride. When Odysseus failed to return home at the end of the war, it left his son and left the safety of his, Telemachus left the safety of his home to find his father and to bring him home. The goddess of Athena, disguised as mentor, traveled with him. The triumph of this venture proved the success of mentor and mentoring. You never know. See, the good thing about mentoring, you may be at the table and you may not be in charge, but when you have mentorship, you're prepared to step in place. That's why I tell my mentors, be prepared. Once you go to a job, I said you got 30 days to build up your new resume. Because, I don't want to give them the idea that you're there to stay forever. It's time to move forward. That's what my mentor told me. Now that you're here, you should be looking ahead and not right here. We hired you for the here. You should be looking for tomorrow in that plan of what we call mentoring and growth. Let me give you a few elements of reciprocity. Believe it or not, the mentor will learn some things from the mentee. How many of you have had somebody do some reverse mentoring for you, especially with technology? Because when we went into the pandemic, I was not going Zoom, Microsoft Teams, WebEx, Adobe Connect, Google Docs, and everything else was out. And I thought I was going to have to shut down my business. But, I go to some of my mentees who are about, at least a couple of years younger than me. They reverse mentored me so that I could be successful. So it's that reciprocity, because you got some smart mentees out here that knows things and I don't know. Learning. Mentors are a learning facilitators. That's what you are. You facilitate learning. That means you're not telling people what to do, you facilitating them. You can kind of ease those things over when you talk about facilitation. It makes me think of a time some years ago, I wanted some Bose speakers, and they were pretty expensive at that time to me. And I was trying to think how I was going to get my financier, called AKA wife, to agree to this thing. I needed some new speakers. And so one day we was at a prime outlet and I used my facilitation skills while she's out there shopping and doing things, and I'm encouraging her to purchase things. Get what you want, baby. It's all good. Get what you want. I'm encouraging her. I said, let me step away for a minute. Let me see, go to a couple of men's stores. I went over to a Bose store and found that they had a demonstration room for both speakers. Now I could have said, honey, come on, let's go over to the boats. That's not facilitating the process. But as she was coming out the store, I looked, I said, oh, look at it, there's a boat speaker. Why don't we just go down there, and what do you think about going down there and looking in and just see what's like? And that's facilitating her into the process and say, let's go down the boats and we're gonna buy some boat speakers. That's facilitating her into the process. And once we got into that room and that sound, she was sold and I was happy. And I had those speakers bought. So it's about facilitating. You use it every day in most instances to facilitate relationship. That strong relationship inspires, motivate, and support learning and development. In that partnership, when we look at that partnership, mentee and mentor become attuned to each other's needs. It's that connection that you have. He said, and some people say, well, if you're in a formal program, mentorship might only be for 1 year or 2 years. But mentorship for me has been a lifetime. I still call and speak to my mentor that I have now, Brenda Gooch. I've known Brenda for all of my civilian career, and she became a mentor to me and gave me some very sage advice. Now, did I always follow it? No, because Oliver can be hard-headed. And then I had to go back and act like Bugs Bunny. And she said, well, how did your plan work? And I believe she over there, can we talk about something else? She said, you used the plan that I informed you might cause you some problems. And that's what mentees do. Sometimes you have to let your mentee fall. And you know it's not going to work. As long as it's not devastating, it's okay. So let them fall, because sometimes when people fall, they figure it out. You know, it's like burning your hand on your stove. You figure out fire is hot. Stay away from it. When we look at collaboration, mentor and mentee work together, it is a collaboration. It's a partnership. It's a relationship. It's a place where I can be not blunt, but let me say I can be candid. And I want them to be candid with me. I want them to feel secure, because in a mentor-mentee relationship, it is there. It belongs where it's at. It's not for discussion outside of that, because you want them to have a safe place to come. And if you're a mentee, you want to go to a safe place. When I can just say that I totally messed up something. I totally did the wrong thing, and I received this repercussion. And so that mentor and that mentee is not going to show anything that says, oh, you did jack it up. You're just a knucklehead. You should have done this and should have done that. You discuss it, you decipher it, you break it down where it might have gone wrong, so they understand what to do the next time. You want to mutually define some goals, and that SMART goal system, as old as it is, still stands. It still works. You want specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals. Because if you don't put times on it, then it won't get done. Let me just say that it will not get done, and you have to follow up with it. One of my requirements to become a mentee or mentor for someone, I have 20 rules, 20 rules. And I would suggest to you, if you are going to become a mentor or already a mentor, start giving your rules for how this relationship is going to go. So the next thing is, of course, you want to help the person develop. You really do want to help them develop. It becomes important. The casual mentoring, when you look at the casual mentoring, when you're talking about it's just what it says, casual. It is what some individuals are referring to when they give public recognition to a mentor who has served as a role model. And sometimes you have role models and they do that casual mentoring, or they may assist you. You may call me and say, Oliver, can you give me some advice on this? That we're not really in a mentor relationship, but I'm going to impart to you some of my wisdom about it, whatever you're talking about, if I know, or get you someone who does. Informal mentoring programs, I like the informal mentoring. All of my mentorship is informal mentoring. After I get people to agree to the rules, then we can create that relationship and set some times when I'm available and when they're available. Right now, I'm proud to say most of my mentees that I started with back in the early 90s are themselves directors and VPs and senior leaders. And so they will call every now and then just to check in or ask about a particular situation. Or I would check in with them and ask them something about a particular situation, because remember, they're smart people too. And they've now grown up into these leaders. They can give me some words of wisdom on how things are going in today's life. Whereas before, when I picked them up, they were juniors in the workplace, and they were just coming up. They were at low grades, and I was buying lunches, but now they can buy my lunch, and now it's dinner, and I'm expensive now. So formal mentoring is a structured program. If you have any of you have a formal mentoring program in your organization? You can put that in the chat for me. Anyone has formal mentoring? A mentoring program? I see, okay. Brother Kasui does. If you don't have one, you could start one. And I'm gonna show you a book that will help you to do that. A friend of mine started a formal mentoring program for our organization, and she turned it into a big event with balloons, and she had training for mentors as well as training for mentees. You can't assume that a mentor knows how to mentor anyone. Sometimes they think it's about giving directions, but she had a formal mentoring program, and therefore she trained mentors how the expectations of a mentor, and she had the mentees, because everyone is not ready for mentorship. Everyone is not ready for mentorship. And the reason I say that, some people say they want to be mentored, but they never show up. They're not serious about it. Don't waste my time. And you don't want to waste anybody's time if they're going to be a mentor for you. Don't waste my time. That's why I have the rules. And then let's talk about these. When we talk about group mentoring, occurs when several mentors serve together. I have a mentee. She has about 3 mentors, and we know each other. And so we try, she might come up with a really big concern, and she would talk to all 3 of us and see how that works out. And that's good. You can have more than one mentor. You really can. It's almost if you want a second opinion or third opinion, but most of the time, because we know each other, it aligns to a better decision-making process for that leader. So whether you have group mentoring, where you're doing it as a group and we're sitting there together, or you have multiple mentoring, which means you have several mentees, that's okay. Now, I talked about reverse mentoring just a bit. And I talked about, when I talked about a reverse mentoring, when you tap into some of that technical expertise within your ranks. I was going to speak, my youngest reverse mentoring situation was with a 15-year-old. And I was going to speak to some teenagers for the Delta's youth group. And I had some examples I want to use. You can't use Columbo examples with the teenagers of today. They have no clue. Some of y'all don't have a clue who was Columbo in that situation. And that young person happened to be my granddaughter, who is 15. And I was going to talk to these 15 and 16-year-old students as a part of the Delta's programs. And I said, okay, I have this example. I want you to look at this for me. It cost me a dinner. My granddaughter's expensive. She's 18 now and in college. I said, the guy who dates her, they're gonna have to come with it, because she said, that cost me a steak dinner. Let's go out to steak dinner. and she will order steak. It won't be a sirloin. It's going to be something, you know, with a T in it or a P on it. But anyhow, it was good. So I asked her to look at this presentation and to work with me on the language that I needed to talk to these folks, to give them some mentoring of these young men and young women. And it helped. It was a great success. And so that's reverse mentoring. I mentored her all her life and still doing it. But she gave me some mentoring. And Grandpa, nobody knows what that is. Okay, let's change up. So I had an exercise that had different things that people had to recognize as far as stores and logos, because we was talking about branding. So she cleared my chart, you know, knocked out about 45% what didn't need to be there and added things I never heard of. But the young men and women at that program heard of it. So reverse mentoring can come from a teenager. So it certainly can come from someone 21 years old. So let's look at speed mentoring. You have that speed mentoring. It's something that you can do in the agencies that you're in or organizations that you're in, and you get the expertise in the organization to commit to their time for about an hour, 90 minutes, and people rotate to each of the tables to get some sage advice. That's that speed mentoring. And the bell rings and then rotate to the next table. You might have heard about board of directors. And who is in your board of directors? And that might be several people. You might have Brother Kasui, Brother Stanislaus, Brother Dudes. They might be your board of directors. And they might, and so when you look at that, is that mentorship? Yes. But this is that board of directors that you consider that you speed dial to help you with a particular situation or situations and dealing with and how you're going to deal with it as a leader, because they are in those type positions. And then of course you can have peer mentors that you can work with. I never really had too many peer mentors, but that's available. All right, so I'm gonna open the floor. Has anyone had a great, okay. All
So
right,
did you
so
ask about a great mentor, sir?
yes.
Yeah, so I want to just share a quick example. You know, like I do participate in formalized mentorship. And so I'm in a professional organization for career centers. And I met one of my mentors. Her name is Samara Reynolds. And we were friends first. And, you know, we just, you know, networked at events and conferences. And then we both signed up for the national, it's called the National Association of Colleges and Employers. And we both on our own signed up for a mentorship program. And then just by happenstance, they matched us like they didn't know that we were friends. So it said like, hey, Philip Wilkerson, you were looking for a mentor. We suggest that you connect with Samara Reynolds and vice versa. And so I texted her, and this is about 2 years ago. And I said, well, you know, I like you to be my formal mentor in this program. And so we set up a phone call, and she said, what would you really want to get out of this? And so I was like, I want to be a better writer. So with that, we made like a plan to actually write articles together, co-author articles. And she was like, it was more so like a peer mentor where she was like holding me accountable to goals. And so she's just very insightful. And now beyond just writing, I text her all the time. We're friends, but I text her about real career advice because she's a little bit further in her career as being a director of a career center. And so I reach out to her. So it was weird how those boundaries overlapped. She was a friend first before we both signed up for this formal mentorship program.
Thank you, Brother Wilson. Great real life story. The key word I took out there is holding you accountable. When you're sometimes when you're young and upcoming, that accountability, and when if you don't hold me accountable, I may not take it with the same sincerity, but hold me accountable. And it's even with children, you know, you hold your children accountable, and you have to hold adults accountable to follow through. I see Erica said her company they have a formal mentoring program called the Mentoring Circles. Erica, how's that program working for you, for the organization?
I think it works well. Basically, we go to a SharePoint site and you can sign up, give a description of what type of mentoring you're looking for. And kind of similar to the past gentleman, they'll pair you up with someone and then you can meet and discuss, how you want the mentoring to go. They also have group mentoring where you can be mentored by, someone, a higher executive for a significant amount of time, almost 6 months to a year with that particular circle group. So it's going pretty well.
Good, excellent. If you have a mentoring program, there should be somebody constantly monitoring that program and make sure that the mentor and checks in and the mentee and that relationship is working. Sometimes the relationships are not matched right. And it's nothing wrong with changing over those mentors. And sometimes people don't meet. Let me show you some of Hollywood's greatest mentors and managing people and performance.
Some men aren't looking for anything logical, like money. They can't be bought, bullied, reasoned, or negotiated with. Some men just want to watch the world burn.
You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Don't ever let somebody tell you you can't do something. Not even me. All right?
All right.
You got a dream, you got to protect it.
Unlearn what you have learned.
All right, I'll give it a try.
No, try not. Do or do not. There is no try.
Why then did the Sorting Hat place you in Gryffindor?
Because I asked it to.
Exactly, Harry, exactly. Which makes you different from Voldemort. It is not our abilities that show what we truly are. It is our choices.
Wow. Awesome! How did you do that?
Inner peace.
Inner peace. That's cool.
So what did you learn from that clip, those clips? What's some key words you might have picked up from those mentors, from Yoda to Batman and so forth? What are some of those nuggets you might could have taken from that? Anyone, you can just throw it in the chat room or you can unmute and let me know. Let's see if we have anything in the chat. It starts inside of you. Yeah, that inner peace. Determining your destiny. Fantastic, thank you. Determine your own destiny. Anyone else? Being challenged. The mindset of the mentor will transfer to the mentee. Oh, that's nice. Bruce Wayne is a billionaire and he gets advice from Alfred. Alfred was the most important person for Batman. You know, people didn't see that as mentorship. They thought, well, he was just a butler throwing things. That's fantastic. Being present. Anybody ever watch golf? Let me see what else I got. Accept the challenge. Action is essential. It sure is. Parents are expected to guide you, but you seek other feedback. And you heard that from the person, Will Smith. He told him, even if it comes from me, that I say you can't do something, don't take that as gospel. That shows it doesn't matter what titles you have, but your values and life experience, you better believe it. It's your values. They gave you options. They gave you choices. And what they say, don't try, do. I like that. I always like that. Don't try, do. So it helps that person to get that confidence and to continue to build. Thank you for sharing that with me. That role of a mentor is to provide guidance, support, and direction. Notice it didn't say to tell you, but direction. The compass. The compass gives you a direction as you are in your journey. So if you're going right, it may eventually turn you to go left. Or give you some advice. If you want to get back to north, you might need to go a little west. And that's what that mentor is, that compass. We give you a direction to go in, but you're going to have to read it as you go in through your journey to continue on the path. They can be a coach and advisor, and certainly they can provide feedback. When you look at your role as a mentor, and just think about what you're doing, you are actually working with somebody's life. You're going to enrich their life. My mentor enriched my life by helping me to decide or to look for choices or giving me guidance so I can become one of the insiders and pull others in. And that's the key as a mentor. I heard, I believe it's Brother Wilkes said, Brother Wilkes and Brother Deuce say that if you're going to be a mentee, then you should be willing to mentor because you have something to give. I tell my mentees that it's a cost to this. And they say, well, what's the cost? You know, we got to pay you. No, the cost is that you mentor someone else because it has to keep going in order for it to be successful. If you're taking all the benefits and not giving it back, then what are you doing? Every now and then you have to play the devil's advocate to help the mentee think through decisions because you don't want to give them the answer. You want to facilitate them to the answer or to the solution or to the charge or to setting upon their goal. And you want to be their champion. You remember those women I told you about? They didn't have a mentor. They needed a champion in their corner. They needed someone to tell them, you're at the table, act like you're at the table. You're in there, act like you're in there. Don't push back, move forward and show the value that you have. I can only tell you many of my mentees, when they first starting into their careers, especially looking at leadership, men and women alike, their confidence is not there. When I'm dealing with minorities, the confidence is not there, more so because maybe their background or because of what they have faced in life. But you can help with that confidence. And that certainly became key to me because if you don't look like you're confident, then you're not confident to the people that's looking at you and expecting something from you. Here in this slide, you see about sharing information on unwritten rules. If you know how, you just raise your hand. If you know there are unwritten rules in an organization, that becomes important. The other week we had General Williams talk about organizational climate and then looking at organizational climate versus organizational culture. And that you need to know that culture, those unwritten rules, they're there because each organization developed their own culture. And it's not just with the leadership, but it's the people that's in there. You're going to act as a sounding board, and sometimes you're going to be a resource person. Sometimes things may go outside of business. And you have to be careful on that line, you know, but look at it, it may be something that a person have agreement. You don't want to be insensitive to that, but about some wisdom. I've been mentoring, trying to work with Brother Kasui, let him know that he's the head of the household, but he ain't the head. And you'll get to know that sometime, that who's going to take out the trash and who's going to wash the cars and who's going to cut the grass. And so that you learn these things. But it's important that you also become that understand that you will not always be talking about business. Life, you cannot leave your home life at the door. It is impossible. People say, well, you're gonna leave your home life at the door. You're at work now. Or whatever problems I'm having at home, whether it's a bereavement, whether it's a baby being born or someone that is sick, that comes with me. So every now and then, you just have to be that comfort. You have to be there for that person as a sounding board, and you might have some wisdom. What a mentor is not. Well, certainly telling your mentees how to do their job, that's not a mentor, not at all. We want growth. They are seeds, and we want them to be well rooted in growth. There's an oak tree in my backyard. It's about 150 years old. It's dying now because it's just old and it got infected. But the one thing for sure, people ask me all the time, are you afraid of that tree falling over? I've never been afraid of that tree falling over, because it started as an acorn. It started as a seedling. And it's so rooted in that ground, unless the earth is destroyed, that tree is going to be there unless I have it removed, because it's rooted. It's rooted, deeply rooted in there. When I look at sometimes of mentees, I look at them as acorns, because that's how you grow an oak tree. And so in this story here, I'm telling you about the acorn. Does anyone know how you determine whether an acorn is good for growing an oak tree? Do you know the test? Anyone knows the test? If so, unmute yourself and let me know. Saying nothing in the chat, or anyone's think. So this you can use to learn about growing an oak tree, which is one of the most solid growing trees in America, on this side, on the East Coast anyway, besides a pine. And the pine is not a strong tree, but an oak tree is usually strong. Is you take acorns and you put them in water. Let's see, I got something in the chat. The color of the seed. All right, thank you. But you take the acorns and you put them in water, and you have to see which ones sink. So the question is, which acorn is best used to grow the tree? The ones that's floating or the ones that have sunk? And why? Anyone want to take a guess? It's in the chat here.
I don't know, Brother Allen, but to me, it's a tricky question. The one that sinks means to me, in the sense that it is deeply rooted. The further down it goes, the more it absorbs, it goes down. But I'm thinking the one that floats up top is also a good choice, because it's level and it will remain at the top and remain good. So I have no idea, but I'm looking for your wisdom in guiding me with that one.
Thank you, John. I see Erica says floating, Brother Deuce says floating, and Brother Kasui says sunk, has more material for growth. And the correct answer is Brother Kasui. The ones that sink. Thank you, Brother Kasui, because if it sink, it means that it has something in it for growth. If it doesn't, it means what's floating is actually dead almost. And so you look at it, it has something in it, and you have to look at mentees like that. If they have something that you can work with, you know the ones that's floating on top, because they float on everything, and they float away from meetings, they float away from work, they float away from objectives, they float away from commitment. And you have to just take those off your list. Don't go chasing after. Give them one call, then just go work with the ones that you can have the most success with. So giving solution for mentees, operation issue without having mentees resolve the issue, you don't want to do it. Making decisions for the mentee, giving frequent advice and criticizing the mentee. No, that's not what you want to do. That's right, brother dudes, floaters versus sinker. And so you think about sinking all the time in a negative sense, but in this case, it's in the right way. So when we look at what a mentor is not, being a benefits of mentoring is this: it creates a legacy. Not necessarily your legacy, but it can be. But when you're sitting at those lunches or those promotions of your mentees, you feel something. You can see what you inputted grow and flourishes. It's exposure to an emerging talent pool. These folks are the future leaders in this country or in the organization you're in. It even gives ongoing attention to your own career development, because sometimes you have to research some things in order to facilitate something for your mentee. The satisfaction of imparting wisdom and experience to others, enhancement of coaching, leadership, management, and recruiting skills, because you're getting information from your mentee. And if you are the mentee, feel free to share with your mentor, because they don't know everything. Exposure to diverse thoughts and perspectives. I'm asked all the time, do you have to work in the same career field as the mentee? The answer to that is no. It just means you have to have a wider network to share with your mentee, because if they ask me something that's really specific and technical, I turn them on to a person whom I trust in that field outside of their organization, but that works in that field. I've had some people that, one of my mentees was a PhD in a field I couldn't even pronounce in that area, and working up at NIH. Could I mentor her? Yes, I could. Well, there's some areas that I didn't know about, forensics, of course there was. But did I have a broad network of trusted people that she can talk to about growth in her career field? I most certainly did. And I turned her on to those folks so that we can get back to the concepts that we're going to deal with. And of course, it creates a lasting network. My mentees have been so helpful in my business and doing things. I can ask of them, or I can send somebody that needs their guidance, because now they are the ones that's in a position to mentor. Let's look at these 4 phases of mentoring as we move towards the coaching piece. And you can see preparing, phase 1, getting ready. This is that discovery phase. That's time to set the tone. It's looking at the clarity of roles, who's doing what, the expectation, and have some rules of conduct prepared. And I'm gonna show you a book that'll help you along with those rules of conduct. And when you look at negotiating, the business phase, establishing agreements, define the ground rules, that becomes important. Setting those goals. I always like to give my mentees when I first start, a 5-year career plan, have them fill out, and they might not know what that looks like, but you get started, because if you just think about today, your tomorrow is not going to be very successful. You have to look in the future. You have to reach ahead of the game. What's coming, what you're looking, what you're seeking, and discuss the course of action in meeting those goals. And of course, if you use that 5-year career plan, it's helping them to get started. Remember, I keep talking about enable them to grow. they have to grow. That's the important piece of this, is growing, and provide the feedback they need. Even when you know they did something that wasn't the best way of doing it, let them define what went wrong and let them come up with a solution which would have been better. And of course, you facilitate that process and work with them. And it's almost like when you tell somebody you're getting warm. And then you want to look at that coming to closure. If you're in a forming program, you might have to come to closure. And if you have to come to closure, then there's a way to do that. But allow that mentor, if possible, to always come to you if they need something as far as mentorship. The bottom line is decide if mentoring is right for you. You must have the motivation to be a mentor, and you must have the dedicated time to be successful at it, and must be accountable. And this goes for if you are the mentee. You must decide if being mentored is right for you. And you must decide if you have the time to spend with your mentor. And you must have the motivation to be a mentee. And you must be accountable as a mentee. So it works both ways. It's not just one way. Let's do a quick recap, and we're going to use a learning activity for this recap, and then we're going to go into coaching, and then we shall close out. So this Family Feud, everybody know how to play Family Feud? I don't want to make any assumptions. Everyone is invited. I'm not Steve Harvey, and Brother Kasui is not paying me that kind of money anyhow. So when I share this with you, you ask, what's the rules? Whatever I say it is, because you're not paying me, so you can't make your own rules. So let me go ahead and share this screen with you. And let's do it. As usual, when you start something and you plan for it to work, it doesn't work. So we're going to try it one more time and see if it works, because it didn't that time. All right. Okay. So welcome to the Family Feud. Let's begin with our question. Name 7 benefits for mentoring. 7 benefits for mentoring. Just unmute yourself and tell me, because I'm not going to look in the chat.
Feedback.
Providing feedback. Let me see if I can give you something there. Okay, I'm gonna give you number 5. There you go. Anyone else?
Personal development.
Somebody said development.
Yeah.
A positive relationship.
A positive relationship.
Or support.
Or support. Okay, let's go there.
Erica said reverse mentoring.
Reverse mentoring. Okay, let's do this one.
All right.
Thank you, Erica. Anyone else?
Guidance.
Guidance. Yeah, guidance. 2 more.
Someone to take you out to lunch when you get a little bit more seasoned.
Here you go, exposure to emerging talent. And of course, a lasting career network. As your mentors grow, they will have networks that'll be extended to you. So good job, team. I appreciate your responses. Only one boo. You need some more mentorship. All right. So let us continue in our closure. As mentees, you want to celebrate what was learned, experienced, establish the closure and protocols, address obstacles along the way, ensure that there has been a positive learning experience, evaluate all the outcomes, and although there is closure, this is not the end. So just be mindful of that into the mentorship. It's a relationship. Now, let me give you a warning. Let me give you a warning. Sometimes you will become friends with your mentee. You just do. And you heard Brother Wilkerson talk of that, because you build that trusted relationship and bond. And several of my mentees have become friends, and that's it. It's just friends. And that's what you want to keep it, as friends and nothing else. So you have friends, they count on me, I count on them, I call them for things, and that's important. Let's go on to coaching. Coaching is a bit different when you look at a coach. And so when we look at what is coaching, you see there is a set of management skills focused on getting most productivity out of employee. Leaders are coaches more so than mentors. The thing, people say, well, can't you be a leader and a mentor to your employee? My philosophy on this is no. And this is why. And you might have something different. I welcome any feedback or any other comments. If I am your supervisor, I may use some mentoring skills, but I'm there to coach because I need productivity, I need performance, and I'm demanding that performance. There are times as a coach, I'm gonna tell you what to do. And that's, which is a little different than mentoring. See, if I say I'm your mentoring, and let's say your performance went down and you're not doing very well, and I have to evaluate you, and I said, well, John, you know, your work was, it was really gone down. And John said, well, I don't know why, you're my mentor. Then it's your fault. So you have to be careful of that. So when I'm at work, I never consider myself a mentor to an employee. I consider myself a coach, because I have to do directive, there's an expectation, and there's a consequence if expectations are not met that I'm gonna have to do. As a mentor, there are no consequences for you as the mentor as it will be for the mentee. Because you're guiding them, and you'll let them know there may be consequences for your decisions, but you do not have to take any type of disciplinary action, punitive actions, or conduct actions. Anyone else want to share anything on that difference of mentee and mentor? I mean, mentor and coaching. Okay.
The Brother Allen.
Yes, sir.
One of the things I like to add is that the coaching is usually moving forward. You know, what you want to do in the future, and it's directed at you know, what you want to accomplish in the future. Over.
Over. Roger. Thank you. Anyone else? When you're looking at the coaching, coaches, when a leader act as a developer and guide to a team. I'm gonna show you a video that many of you probably seen before, but I think it's one of the best videos out there. Every time I try to look for something new, I get stuck on this one. Mentoring promotes self-development and self-sufficiency. Coaches are coaching people that they're coaching that team. They're counting on you to do something. because it affects the mission of the organization that you're in a lot of times. So if you've seen this video, bear with it. It's a good reminder of what coaching is really about, but it'll also show some mentoring in it as well.
All right, let's go. Show me something. 10 yards. Move it. Move it. Let's go, Matt. Let's go. Jonathan. Show me something. 10 yards. Show me some power. No knees. Keep your knees off the ground. Show me something. There you go. 10 yards. Show me some muscle. Show me some power. Give me some heart. Let's go. Very good, boy. Very good. Let's run it back.
So, Coach, how strong is Westview this year?
A lot stronger than we are.
You already written Friday night down as a loss, Brock?
Well, not if I know we could beat them.
Come here, Brock. You too, Jeremy.
What, am I in trouble now?
Not yet. I want to see you do the death crawl again, except I want to see your absolute best.
What, you want me to go to the 30?
I think you can go the 50.
50. I can go to the 50 if nobody's on my back.
I think you can do it with Jeremy on your back, but even if you can, I want you to promise me you're going to do your best.
All right.
Your best.
Okay.
You going to give me your best?
I'm going to give you my best.
All right, one more thing. I want you to do it blindfolded.
Why?
Because I want you giving up at a certain point when you could go further. Get down. Jeremy, get on his back. Now get a good tight hold, Jeremy. All right, let's go, Brock. Keep your knees off the ground, just your hands and feet. There you go. A little bit left, a little bit left. There you go. Show me good effort. That way, Brock. You keep coming. There you go. It's a good start. A little bit left, a little bit left. There you go, Brock. Good strength. That's it, Brock. That's it.
Not at the 20 yet?
Forget the 20. You give me your best. You keep going. That's it. No, don't stop, Brock. You got more in you than that.
I ain't done. Just resting a second.
You got to keep moving. Let's keep moving. Let's go. Don't quit till you got nothing left. There you go. Keep moving. Keep moving. Keep moving, Brock. That's it. You keep driving. Keep your knees off the ground. Keep driving it. Your very best. Your very best. Your very best. Keep moving, Brock. That's it. That's it. That's it. Keep going. Don't quit on me. Keep going. Keep driving it. Keep your knees off the ground. That's it. Your very best. Don't quit on me. Your very best. Keep driving. Keep driving. There you go. There you go. That's it. You keep driving. Keep your knees off the ground. Keep driving it. Don't quit till you got nothing left. Keep moving, Brock. That's it. That's it. That's it. Keep going. I want everything you got. Come on, keep going. It hurts. Don't quit on me. Your very best. Keep driving. Keep driving. There you go. There you go.
He's heavy.
I know he's heavy.
I'm out of strength.
Then you negotiate with your body to find more strength, but don't you give up on me, Brock. You keep going, you hear me? You keep going, you're doing good. You keep going. Do not quit on me. You keep going. It hurts. I know it hurts. You keep going. You keep going. It's all hard from here. 30 more steps. You keep going, Brock. Come on. Keep going. Burn. And let it burn. Ours are burning. It's all hard. You keep going, Brock. Come on. Come on. Keep going. You promised me your best. Your best. Don't stop. Keep going. Too hard. It's not too hard. You keep going. Come on, Brock. Give me more. Give me more. Keep going. 20 more steps. 20 more. Keep going, Brock. Give me your best. Don't quit. No. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Don't quit. Don't quit. Don't quit. Brock Kelly, you don't quit. Keep going. Keep going. Go, Brock Kelly. You don't quit on me. No, you keep going. You keep going. Go, Brock. 10 more steps. 10 more. 10 more. 10 more. Keep going. Don't quit. Give me your heart. You can. You can. 5 more. 5 more.
anything. I don't have any more. Look up, Brock. You're in the end zone. Brock, you are the most influential player on this team. If you walk around defeated, so will they. Don't tell me you can't give me more than what I've been seeing. You just carried a 140-pound man across this whole field in your arms. Brock, I need you. God's gifted you with the ability of leadership. Don't waste it.
Coach?
Can I count on you? Yes.
Coach?
What is it, Jeremy?
I weigh 160.
I still find that to be a very powerful video. There were some points out there. So Brother Dews came out with, it is a financial investment as a coach. It is. If you're a leader, you should be a coach, coaching your team. And let's see what else I have in the chat. Facing Giants, absolutely. What is the name of the movie? Oh, I'll give that to you because I don't have it with me right now. I don't think the name came out there. I usually write it down, but I'll get that name for you. It's the
name is Facing Giants.
Facing Giants. Okay. You might have it come out as something else as well as 101. If you need the video, I'll put my email. Let me put it in there in the chat. It didn't have any copyrights on it. And I might have to send it to you from another email because the video is heavy, but that's okay. When looking at that, so it's a financial thing. When you're leading people and coaching people. The other thing, the blindfold. What do you think the blindfold represents? What do you think that blindfold represents?
Could it be fair on his part?
Could it be fair on his part? Explain that.
Well, some people don't know what they can actually do until they're pushed into that direction to accomplish it. So some of us have fears. We all have fears of something in life. So that could be his fears. That's what I think the blindfold represents. Over.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you. I see in there that blindfold represents pushing past what you can see. Our own limitations are removed. Absolutely. He had to have faith and listen to it. Limits beliefs, those are important. The other piece, and just looking at the blindfolds, you cannot see literally what's out there. You can assume, but you have to envision the finish line. You have to envision the finish lines. Horses are put blinders on in a race so that they do not let their peripheral vision interfere with the course that they need to take. And that's another blindfold. It keeps us focused. Thank you, brother, because it keeps us focused on what we're doing in coaching. That's a big difference. And you have to do that as a leader when you become coaches. And that's why I said, for me, being a mentor and a coach to employees is a bit different. Let me go ahead and continue with the rest of our lesson coaching so we can finish on time. But when we look at it, the coach for results, that's that financial piece in there. That's that mission accomplished piece. Feedback, not praise or criticism, but we will give praise for doing something well. But a coach gives a lot of feedback, and he or she gives that feedback all along a way. Yes, it is very easy for people to get distracted. There's so much that can distract you these days. Positive feedback is news. or input to an employee about an effort well done. Negative feedback is news to an employee about an effort that needs improvement. Negative feedback does not mean poor performance. Instead, it focuses on improvement. It focuses on solution, whereas criticism may not do that, whereas praise may not do that. But there's a right time for praise, and there's a no time for criticism. Criticism does not help you. So there are many things like this 8 steps to coaching that we'll talk about. I'm not going to talk about number 1 yet, but I do want to look at, well, we're going to number 2, define the topics, needs, and what's the needs of that person. You want to establish the impact that this plan of his or hers may have and what impact they're looking for. And then, of course, you want step 4, you want to initiate that plan. That becomes important. And this step where you actually start doing, this is the doing piece where you see your person in there. And you all remember I told you about that 5-year career plan. That's the plan I work from initial start. And then get a commitment. Remember I said I get those rules up front, because there's going to be commitment. If I'm going to spend my time with you, we need to make sure that you're in the game for real. Confront excuses or resistance. There will be excuses. Well, if I had had this, if I couldn't have had that, well, okay, you didn't. And we have to look at workarounds. And when we prepare people for assignments or missions, they need to know the way to get there using the A plan, the other way to get there using the B plan, and the other way to get there using the C plan. You got to have more than one plan to get to a route. It's like going on a trip. If you're only going to go down I-95 or the main interstate and there's an accident on the interstate, you need to have some alternate routes. And so what that GPS says, what it say? Recalculating, unless you're totally lost. And I've been some places in North Carolina where that thing says, I don't know where you're at. There's no more calculation to be done, basically, because the road wasn't on the GPS. And so it says, basically telling you, you're on your own, dude, go for it. And then, of course, don't give up, whether you're the mentee or the mentor. But the number one thing in mentorship and in coaching, especially coaching, is that coach did not let that young man give up. And that young man was an influencer of the team. And you have those in the organization. And if the person is the influencer of the team, he told him, I need you because people look up to you. And that means, I'm the coach, they look up to me. I need you because you're on their level of playing field. You want to be supportive. You want to be supportive as a coach. Some coach can be not so supportive. And here are 10 good skills you need. Active listening, assertive speaking, time management with anything. Make your meetings purposeful. Have an agenda. Have you ever been to a meeting with no agenda? You say, with no agenda, what are we doing? And that makes a free flow, and it may last 2 or 3 hours. Manage and accept change. You got to develop the team, whereas a mentorship, you're working with the individual. But most time, coaches have a team. Do you use coaching skills in mentorship? Yes, some. Do you use mentorship in coaching? Yes, some. Look at conflict management, project management, and effective leadership. No matter what the performance issue may be, if they're improving, improvement has not occurred despite your best efforts, terminating. I look at that closure piece by, I said, okay, I might need some help with this person. You don't want to just fire them or terminate them. And so sometimes I assign another coach that this person may be able to work with, such as my employee, to get what I need from them. And that's the closure part, changing over, but you're not going to give up. Here are some excellent books. You can take a screenshot if you like. The coaching piece, Coaching and Mentoring for Dummies, the Mentees Guide for Mentees, and the Mentors Guide. And this Mentors Guide have a lot of different plans. It has a lot of plans that you can use, and it tell you how to start an entire program. Well, this completes my presentation, and I'm certainly open to questions, and I'll take your questions. At the same time, I will also turn it back over to Brother Kasui. So are there any questions or comments or feedback that you want or need?
Yes. Brother Allen, one of the questions is, can you provide some of the rules you use in terms of mentoring?
Yes, Brother Dudes, just send me an email and I'll send it to you. I'll send you all 20.
Right, great, excellent. We said 10-4. I got another question that came here. What is the best strategy for selecting a mentor?
The best strategy is observation, Brother Kasui. Observation of someone you think is a great role model that you can trust and feel confident in speaking to. Get someone that has worn a couple of t-shirts and torn them off and has some broken bones in it. You know, if you never have a trial or tribulation, never have consequences, it's hard to tell anybody about how to face them. So when I look for somebody, I look for somebody that I admire as a leader. And then I go seek that person out. And you might have to seek several out and just ask about it and just get to know that person.
Copy that. Same question in reference to how do you choose a coach?
If you are if you use it, let's say if you're at work and you're working for somebody, you don't get to choose unless you choose what job you play to. But every now and then you might want an executive coach. And when you look for an executive coach, you look for one that may have had some success. What you want to do with executive coaching, because sometimes they charge, is or not charge. But you want to sit down and talk with that person and get a feel about what's their philosophy and development or coaching people. What type of methodology that they use in coaching people becomes important.
And the question is, in your opinion, what is the hardest part of becoming a mentor?
The hardest part for becoming a mentor is time. And because a lot of times when you're mentoring, you're busy and you want to make sure that you set aside that time. And the other hard part is that you don't want to give the answer. You want to facilitate them into the solution.
Copy that, copy that. The other question I have here in the chat is, what is the difference between mentoring and sponsorship?
It's the next level up. Sponsorship is that person that becomes your voice when you're not present. Usually when you're looking for a sponsor, you want to look for somebody that's in a higher level position, probably about 2 or 3 grades up. You know, if you're in an industry, you look for someone that's at the executive level. If you're in the government, you're looking for someone at the senior executive level. You want to have that person, because when it comes time to moving up the ranks, it's about who knows you and not who you know. That who knows you means when they're at the table. So when it comes up for awards, when it comes up for moving you up to that next level, maybe it's directorship, that sponsor is going to say, you know something, I know Erica, she is solid and we should seriously take a look. That means a bunch. I'm telling you that in the senior leadership ear, that Erica is a dynamite person. And that's what it is. It's that voice when you're not there that's already at the table.
Copy that. Great point. And then the last question that I have is, what is one of the most common mistakes that mentees make in a mentor-mentee relationship?
They know everything. They're the know-it-alls. Oh, yeah, well, I do that when I know that already. I've done that already. Yeah. Well, I've tried that. They know too much. They need to listen and partake in the information. They would say they are a floater, brother dudes. Yeah, they are a floater. They're all over the place. They know so much, but why are you here? That is one of the common mistakes, and we do that sometimes. You have to listen. Listening is key for both parties, mentor as well as mentee.
Absolutely. Brother Alan, any closing words of inspiration that you would give to folks who are looking to take their personal leadership to the next level, either through coaching or through mentoring?
If you don't have a mentor, get one. I told you now, I'm 67 years old. I'm considered a senior citizen. I've done a lot of things. I've gone into 3 careers. I still need mentorship. I don't know everything. I have a business. I need mentorship for my business. I have to. I'm a spiritual man. I do attend participate in my religious activities. I need some mentorship and guidance and working with people in that type of religious framework. So get one, because every now and then you need to be able to talk to somebody candidly about something that's already knows how to work through that. So get your mentor. If you're a mentor, take it serious. You owe it. If someone gave it to you as had the mentorship, you owe it to other people, and you'll be very richly rewarded, not in money, but it's an enrichment that no one could ever take from you, and you will never lose it.
Absolutely. Everybody, let's give Brother Alan a big, wonderful round of applause for his excellent presentation today. We learned a lot about mentoring, how mentoring got started. We learned the different types of mentoring. We learned the difference between mentoring and coaching. We learned how to leverage both of those. And we also learned how to determine what type of seed is going to grow into a big, strong tree. and so that's the kind. I wish we could apply that same approach to be able to determine, who's going to be a really good leader, right? We can see, we could throw them in the water and see if they sink or do they float. We're going to apply that approach. But thank you, everyone. Wonderful session today. Thank you, Brother Alan, for an excellent presentation. Again, this presentation will be on the YouTube channel, so you can get a chance to watch it.